What's up, Meta Nerds? Today we're going to talk about the B2 Super Battle Droid. Like the name suggests, the B2 is an upgrade of the B1. And I'm not talking used car dealer upgrades, I'm talking rockets in the wrists, dual and sometimes tri-laser cannons, a larger frame with additional armor, and most importantly, its delicate processing unit and signal receptor were put deep inside the heavily plated torso. Combine this with the fact that it doesn't need to receive a signal from a ship, and you have the much needed and qualitative improvement upon the B1. They're also streamlined from a production point of view. They have a lot of the same parts as the B1, which made mass production a lot easier. The wrist blasters were also a modular design, meaning they could easily be swapped out for rocket launchers or grapple hooks. And just as a cherry on top, later versions of these battle droids also spoke a simplified form of BASIC. Now that you know a little bit more about how they're built, let's jump into their history. After the snafu on Naboo, Separatist forces realized what a fatal flaw it was to have all of your droids depend upon a signal from a ship, as opposed to being autonomous units. After a prototype beta version was released, the B2 Super Battle Droid that we know and love today was first deployed during the Kashyyyk Trade Rebellion in 28 BBY. The B2s were hugely successful, which is amazing considering that the B1s got their asses kicked by a bunch of Gungans, and one installment later, the B2 is able to hold its own against Wookiees. Now a huge hit, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, or CIS, asked Count Dooku to strike a deal with Poggle the Lesser, the Archduke of Geonosis, in order to mass-produce these droids. Some estimates say that by the end of the Clone Wars, the Techno-Union had produced quadrillions of B2 Super Battle Droids. Easily one of the most iconic and feared elements of the Separatist forces. These guys get decommissioned right after Vader unleashed his ultimate back in that room on Geonosis. But there was still a little bit left to their story. Even though the Clone Wars had ended, and the Techno-Union was no more, one genius Geonosian who helped build a lot of this droid tech decided he wanted to hold out against the Empire. His name was Geyser Delso, and his plan was to reactivate a droid foundry on Mustafar. He was able to make what would become the very last batch of B1 and B2 battle droids. And he had a pretty sizable army. The only problem was Vader and the 501st. Once they caught wind of this, they came in and put an end to it pretty quick. No more B2s were ever made after this as far as we know. In Legends, there were a whole bunch of entrepreneurs that found warehouses full of B2 battle droids. They sold these for a very nice profit to a whole bunch of gangs and warlords. So the B2 did see some interesting service with Death Watch on Endor, and even against the Yuuzhan Vong. Well, that's it for the B2's story. Some little interesting extra facts. The first time you actually see a B2 Super Battle Droid was in the 2002 video game Star Wars Jedi Fighter. This was released before Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And I have a lot of super fun memories as a Super Battle Droid in the Star Wars Battlefront video game. Hopefully they'll make a comeback in some future Battlefront installments. Let me know what you guys think about the B2 Super Battle Droid down below. I personally love that they made this droid make a lot of sense. They put all of its important parts in its chest, behind a lot of heavy armor plating, modular designs. All of this makes total sense and could be seen as a real weapon in a futuristic army. Let me know where the B2 ranks on your list of battle droids in the Star Wars universe, and any suggestions for future videos. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more Star Wars content, and remember, may the Force be with you, always.